So I'm Tommaso Colliva. I'm here with the bass Invaders, and this is my spotlight. I grew up in a tiny village on the Italian seaside. I had a pretty good childhood, pretty quiet. Grew up in a kind of a biggish family, three brothers. And then at a certain point, my mom actually convinced me to enroll in a music school. That I was 9, and I wasn't really that much into it. I never thought about it, but she was really like, trust me, you will never have the chance to do this again, and just like, you should start learning music. She's not musical, she can't play anything, but she just wanted me to have the experience. I started playing saxophone and clarinet that I was 10, and that's as soon as my teenage years started. I started discovering a lot of things, including music, rap, graffiti, breakdancing, and everything was so fascinating and so exciting and so just like new and so different from what family wanted, and just so rebel in a way. And so I dedicated pretty much all my teenage years to that. Everything I can remember going to school, and actually that was the thing that forced me to be kind of good at school, because I didn't want my family to argue with what I was doing. Like, I'm good at school, then I can do everything I want later on. You're just like, I'm good at school, I'm just delivering what you want. It's just, I'm not a problem. First job I ever did was like handling a warehouse just to have enough money to buy myself turntables. Then the next thing I knew was like selling my saxophone to buy a sampler and to buy a black and white computer just to start making bits. And before I knew, I was convinced that all I wanted to do in my life was making records. It is what it is. It's magic. It's just like you play back exactly something that happened 5 minutes ago, and it's gonna stay there. And you can repeat. I can remember this, especially early days. Like, I was listening back endless to every recording I was doing. Every recording was like, wow. I can listen back. So after high school, I moved to Milan, moved to the big city, moved where the opportunities were. And I was just by myself, 19 years old, just going to every free concert. I didn't have that much money, so it just like, to me, wasn't about going to the fancy concert. It was about going to the accessible concerts. So, and I enrolled in a audio engineering school. It was a pretty short course, and I was there every free slots they had to use a workstation or studios or whatever. I was there, and I was just trying to make the most out of the experience, I guess. Halfway through the course, I had the chance to, a friend of a friend of a friend was working, was having a session in a big studio in Milan, and I just visited, and I just was blown away. And I said to the guys, "Can I just stay here? Can I just stay here in corner? I will just do whatever you need. Just wrap up cables, bring coffee." And I was lucky enough, they allowed me to do that. They allowed me to do that, so that was a big change. I didn't have that much of a background on music done by real musicians. I had to learn what live drums sounded like. I had to learn how distorted guitars sounded like, what an orchestra sounded like. It was a great period for me. I learned so much from it. Different people see different things in music. We can all be useful for somebody else's project. That is actually what my job is. My job is not about me that much. It's about making a project that an artist wants to develop. So I was meeting a lot of people, a lot of different bands, artists. And with some of them, you just meet once, and then you will meet them again in like 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. With some other, you just click. And I clicked with few bands, and I've been on a journey since then. That happened with a few Italian artists after I was being the most important alternative Italian band. that I'm still working with. And then another really important moment was like when one of the biggest rock band came to the studio, that is Muse. And the owner asked me, do you mind to go back assisting? Because I was already chief engineering there at that point. He asked me, do you mind to assist for their session? I was like, you're joking? Of course I don't mind to assist. They were supposed to stay 2 weeks. And I thought, okay, that's another really interesting 2-week session. And I've been working with them by 12 years now. It just has been interesting, and especially when you establish these long relationship with somebody, you're part of their creative process. You can see from an insider perspective how they develop ideas and how everybody's ideas develop. And sometimes it's quite similar to what you experience by yourself, but sometimes it's just like, oh, I didn't see that. I didn't know you could do things this way. You could do things the other way. And for me, it's just, it's one of those invaluable things about doing what I'm doing. I love making music, and I make records pretty much every day. And I meet people from all over the world that share my passion about making music. And it's great because you can connect straight away on the making music level. Just like I've been producing bands from all over, from Brazil to Turkey. And it's incredible because on the music level, you connect straight away. And then there is the other side, that is a cultural aspect, that you learn that different people in different countries and coming from different backgrounds have been through different things. And you can learn from any of them. But it's good. It's good to sit here in front of the speakers every day and listen to what other people have to say. Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it's tough because you're exposed to this constant flow of thoughts and feelings from other people. But most of the time it's really fun. So I don't really know where I am at the moment. There is no standing point for me. If I was an artist, you could call it inspiration, but for me, it's more just about challenges. Being challenged in life, doing something every day that I haven't done before, learning new things. And that happens to me every day. And that relates on a personal level again, and also on a musical level. I like to experiment every day. I'm lucky enough that I was able to do what I wanted to do. Making records every day. It was my dream, and it is my dream still. And I'm living my dream in that way. Then I know that I've worked so hard to get here. I've worked ridiculous long hours. Ridiculous long hours. That I wouldn't do that now. But it was what I felt it was due when I did. It's amazing how you can learn from everybody. You can learn from a musician that have been doing this for like 50 years. You can learn from a young artist that have been doing this for 4 years. And everybody has something to teach. And everybody has something to learn as well. Big time. I got this constant feeling that I owe to music pretty much everything I know. Pretty much everything I know. I've been through a bit of rough times, as everybody does. Everybody does. And music and the family have always been there. Always been there for me. Just never asked anything. I'm not that much of a spiritual person, but that's magic to me. So at a certain point, I just decided I needed new challenges. Just decided I needed new challenges in life, and I moved to London. I moved to London because I thought, there's no better place to do something in music. It has been an incredible journey, meeting a lot of people that I didn't expect to meet, different cultures that I didn't expect to meet, and having to adapt to a lot of things that were outside of my comfort zone. So I just found myself this studio, and I just wake up every day. I play a little bit of piano, then I cycle here, and I sit in front of the speakers and I work on music. Of course, it helps that I've had few achievements, I guess, in my life, and every time you read a review that is talking good about a record you did or something you did, and it's great. It's great, and it helps you to carry forward. But I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this for that. I'm doing this because I just love it, and I just wouldn't know how to do without it. A couple of years ago, I had a very bad accident. A very bad accident. Quite casually, randomly. Stayed in hospital for like 3 months. And when I came out from that, I just had to puzzle myself back together. I didn't know who I was anymore. I just didn't know what I was good at. I knew because people were telling me, but I just didn't feel like it. Just didn't feel like it at all. I don't know. I can still remember the first time I sat behind a recording desk after the accident. I was like, wow, can I still do this? Everybody's telling me that I did this in the past. And I had memories, of course. I was lucky enough that I came out of the accident with just having good memory. But I didn't know who I was really. I was in coma for a few days. And the first thing that I asked was to play my favorite album. So yeah. And the second thing I asked a few days later was actually, I want to go down to the music instrument store and buy myself a keyboard, because I feel bored sitting on a hospital bed with no keyboard. Having music helped me just putting all the pieces back together. I just had the accident that I was doing an album, that was recording an album, and the artist was actually so great that they waited me to recover and to go through rehab, and waited for me to mix the album. And that album went #1 in Italy, and that was great. That was just like, okay, that's one stepping stone that is down on the path. And then I restarted, just like going one step after the other. And during that period, the Grammy Award came, and that's great, because that reminded you, oh, okay, so maybe I'm valuable. Maybe I've done valuable things in the past, and maybe there are other valuable things to come. I would say, of course, follow your passion, follow what you want to do, and do your thing, and just care about the others, but don't care about what others say about your passion. If it's your passion, if it's what you want to do, just do it. And while you're actually doing what you like and what you love, learn and be totally fine that mistakes exist, and they do exist for a reason. Don't try to avoid mistakes too much. Try to do the best thing, but not force yourself to avoid mistakes. Don't focus your attention on mistakes, and problems are always going to be around. The mistakes are always going to happen. But the important thing, and probably that's the most important thing, learn how to back yourself back on feet every time. And even if you don't know what you want to achieve, just learn from your mistakes to follow your passion, to follow what you have fun with, what makes you feel like proud and happy and just like valuable. Makes you feel like, wow, I can do this. Or wow, it's great to do this with friends. Or wow, it's good to do this because then other people can actually experience what I can experience. And you can only do that by making mistakes. I don't know anybody that didn't do any mistake. Everybody did mistake. And the person that actually are meaningful and valuable, I think they just all learn from mistakes. They just didn't put mistakes under the carpet and ignored mistakes. It's just like they faced mistakes. So like, oh, this didn't really work that well. Okay, let's do it again and just trying to do that better. That would be my advice.